imagine yourself sprinting to the nearest cover. You hear gunshots on the left, explosions on the right, and then you see the nearest cover and power slide right towards it. You try and catch your breath, but you are suddenly interrupted by the sound of bullets smacking onto your cover. You can hear your opponent's footsteps coming, and you try and take a deep breath. You then grip your weapon, grit your teeth, vault over that cover, and give them hell. Congratulations, my friend. What you just experienced is the rush and thrill of playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Yeah. Today, I'll be talking about the three main elements of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I'll be talking about the new thing on it, Blackout. Call of Duty's Battle Royale mode called Blackout. Some of the multiplayer aspects of it, and the characters that come with it. So, let's talk about the new mode called Blackout. In Blackout, it's basically like I said, it's Call of Duty's version of a battle royale. Like Fortnite and PUBG, they've been dominating the gaming world with their battle royale. So Activision decided to put their own spin on their battle royale. And Call of Duty Black Ops, here's a map of the Blackout in Blackout. Oh, it's a bit too big. That's okay. So essentially it's the same thing. You get dropped in, and you have to scan for weapons. And in Blackout, there's three different modes: singles, duos, and quads. Singles is basically, well, you versus 99 other people, and you just have to pretty much just win until your last one standing. Duos, you and your friend or stranger can, team up and start taking down enemies. And in quads, pretty much the same thing. You, your friends, you and three other people, or your friends, can team up and destroy your enemies. In Blackout, there are three vehicles you can use. An ATV, which is a two-seater, so you and your friend. A assault boat, is basically, you and your friend again. And then there's a helicopter, which is you and three other people can jump in and start attacking and giving them hell from above. And the one unique thing about Blackout, there are zombies in it. But they're not everywhere. They're only in a certain part of the map, right here on the side. Basically, it's like a haunted house full of zombies. But be aware, these zombies are aggressive, fast, and just hunt you down no matter what. Good thing is, they can't open the door. But the one thing about Asylum is, there's the best loot there. You can get the best armor, the best weapons, but you gotta be careful. You can make sure you at least have a pistol with you if you want to take down those zombies. Alright, next up, let's talk about the multiplayer aspect. There we go. In Call of Duty, there are a bunch of modes for the multiplayer. In this one specifically, there's deathmatch, free-for-all, and gun game. So in Team Deathmatch, it's you and 5 other people, friends or strangers, versus another team of 6. First one to reach 100 points wins. And that can, especially with different characters you play in Call of Duty, it's a hell of a game. The other game I want to talk about is free-for-all. Basically, it's just you versus 11 other people. You just try your best and make sure you get up to 30 points. And the newest one you can try is gun game. Essentially, no matter who you pick, you always start with the same weapon. And every time you get a kill, your weapon increases. So, when you start the match, you're stuck with a pistol. If you manage to kill someone, you get a silenced pistol. And if you manage to kill someone with that, you get a shotgun, and so on and so forth. Until eventually, you get a really good gun that pretty much kills everyone. First one to reach 30 kills wins it. And here we go, we just have a picture of the team right here. And since I talked about the modes and multiplayer aspect, it's time to talk about the characters. Here we have right here is the Seraph. Now, before I talk about her, I want you all to know there are 10 specialists in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. But I want to talk about 3 right now. And each specialist has 2 unique things about them: their equipment and ability. So equipment is basically like a sub special, while their ability is their main special. For the Seraph, her equipment is basically a tactical beacon. And what that is that she can summon a beacon, place it somewhere, and if you were to die, she can spawn in within that area. Instead of spawning in the map, she will spawn in that certain area and certain radius. And her ability is Annihilator. She spawns it as right here, a revolver with 6 shots. Now these 6 shots are insta-kill, no matter where you shoot them. But you gotta be careful. You gotta aim precisely. You only got 6 shots. You gotta aim. And if you don't use it, eventually she will revert back to using a regular weapon. Second person I want to talk about is the Nomad. He's pretty easy to use if you want to just sit around and just sit around and just snipe. So for him, his equipment, he can use a mesh mine. Basically, he gets a slingshot, summons a mine, and anyone who's not looking gets blown to pieces. And his ability is right there, an assault canine unit. He spawns in a dog, and you can send it 2 modes: patrol or stay with you. So if you're trying to do sniping, the dog, if you put on stay with you, it will pretty much guard you around a certain area while you're trying to snipe. If you just want to sit around and go up kill someone else, you put patrol. Please note that the dog is an insta-kill. He will insta-kill anyone on sight. But you can't kill the dog. Just be careful not to go up in front of it and try and pet it. And the last one is the Recon. This guy, if you want to keep dropping your enemies, he's really good because he's got 2 unique things. His equipment, he can shoot a sonic dart, and basically on a certain radius, he can see people, no matter if they're shooting or not, and he can get the drop on them. And his ability, he can use what he's called a vision pulse. Basically, he puts on special goggles, and everyone's revealed on the map. Their equipment, their traps, their weapons, everything. And then here's just like some of the characters. Some that got cut off right there. You got Ajax, Nomad, Crash, Firebreak, Prophet, Ruin, Recon, and Seraph. I mean, that if you can see. And if you ever think about picking up Call of Duty, when you do pick it up, make sure when you and your friends give those opponents help. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm about to play with him. You can add me. My name is Jay Gray. Right. We get on some Blackout. Hey, you play with him on Team Domination, you gonna win. Man, we can do that. Let's go. Can I do a plan presentation? We gotta talk about 2K. You got the sharpshooter, the side shooter. I'm gonna send you a friend request. I still got your usual.
I'll give you your name later, man.
Let's go off. Why can't he go up? That's the fucking one.
Oh shit. It's terrible. Yeah, I'm scared.
Oh, man, that's okay, I fell off on
No, that's the other day. That's just the day.
I thought I'm picking up. I'm looking at one. I get too late.
All right, well, the visualization that you have at the beginning is the detention device. I thought was pretty effective getting us involved there. You did lose a little bit of energy at one point, but you got back into it pretty effectively. There's a good preview of what the supporting material is going to be. I do think that it gets a little technical. Sometimes it ends up sounding like you've got a list that you're checking off. The character play is okay. I think there probably is a better way to present those individual characters and make them more memorable instead of showing them all at once. So that's maybe something that you could change on the visual artifacts. Presentation issues. I like the fact that you change sides of the screen when you're speaking to kind of make sure that you stay integrated and not fall into the background and just become the narrator of the slideshow. I thought you had some good indicators while you were speaking, but you also have a tendency to kind of put your hand on your hip. You do the little teapot thing that sometimes happens, so you want to be careful about that because that looks a little awkward and it can come across as condescending. So you want to be careful not to talk down to your audience. I know that you're just trying to be engaged, but it does look a little odd. You usually look at the audience when you're speaking to us. I think you do a good job at that. There's a tendency, though, when you get from one side of the screen to the other, like when you're over there, that's who you're talking to. When you're over there, that's who you're talking to. And you want to make sure that you're talking to everybody, regardless of which position that you're in. That, I think, would be a little bit more effective. Your voice projects pretty well. I think there's nice variation in pitch. You do indicate some humor while you're speaking by changing your tone there. Your articulation is not always as clear as it could be. It took me like the 4th reference to Battle Royale to figure out what the hell you were saying. And so it's just like you need to project a little bit and maybe force your mouth to articulate a little bit more. Let me get these because I had them in a particular order, of course, and they all fell down. That'll screw things up good. It's okay. All right. I'm gonna cut it there because I do need to talk about the test.